Hey guys, Silver Sphinx here. Welcome back to What If Naruto Was Blessed by the Gods. Now this is part 2. Before we start, like, subscribe, and comment for more. But without further ado, let's get into it. After a couple months of Naruto being confined to his house, he is finally let off a house arrest. And when he gets off house arrest, he starts walking to the village, and he ends up going into the woods. And when he goes into the woods, he hears noises. So he stops, and he goes behind a tree and looks, and he sees two girls. One with blonde hair, and one with pink hair. These two girls are Ino and Sakura. Ino and Sakura are talking about Naruto. They were talking about how he's not that as bad as everyone says he is, and they wanted to try to be his friend. But when Naruto heard this, he thought that they knew he was there, so they were trying to lure him in to mess with him. So he just started running, and he just kept running. And when he started thinking to himself, why does no one like me? What did I do so wrong? That was so wrong. And then he gets to his house, and he just sits there and cries. He stopped training for a couple of weeks, not wanting to go outside. But then he hears a voice in his head. This voice, it's deep, but not too deep. And it sounds thoughtful and sincere. This voice will tell him that he needs to start training. He can't let the villagers hold him back just because they don't like him. Naruto would think on this, and he would realize that the voice in his head was right. Whoever the voice was. He got up, he got his sword, and he went out to train. Then we're going to time skip. Naruto is 12 now, so he's been training for 9 years, and he's in the academy. In the academy, he's around Jonin level, but he's always holding back. So he's only the third in the class. He's only the third best in the class. Sorry, that took me a while to get out. And the people that are above him is Sasuke, number 1, and Shino being in the number 2 spot, seeing as he is smarter than everyone else. Well, other than Shikamaru, but he has better fighting skills than Shikamaru. So that's what put him in the second. But, yeah, so this is around the time where Naruto is having his graduation ceremony. So when he walks in the class, he's greeted by Iruka-sensei and by Sakura and Ino. Over time, Naruto realized that Sakura and Ino weren't actually being mean. They were actually trying to be his friends. So he warmed up to them a bit, but he's still a little cold to everyone else. He likes to just sit and mind his business unless he's spoken to by Iruka-sensei or Sakura and Ino. So Sakura and Ino will welcome him into the class, and he would greet them at the door. As he walked to his seat, he and the two would talk until he got back to his seat, and he would sit down next to Sasuke, and Sakura sitting right down next to him. Now, Sakura and Ino still fangirl over freaking Sasuke, of course, but they're just friends with Naruto. This is actually what drove Naruto to actually stay in school and to just, not be a total douchebag, as most people would say. But, yeah. So, Iruka-sensei is telling them that before they get on with the graduation ceremony, he's going to have everyone do sparring matches. So Naruto gets paired up with Sasuke. Shino gets paired up with Shikamaru. Ino and Sakura get paired up. Hinata gets paired up with freaking one of the random girls in the class. And Kiba gets paired up with Choji. So Kiba versus Choji. Kiba actually wins this. Hinata wins her match. And Ino just barely comes out on top in her match. Then Shikamaru and Shino's match goes, pretty much Shino just wins. And now the final match. Naruto thinks to himself, he's like, I can't hold back in this fight. I have to beat him this time. He makes me so mad whenever he beats me, because he actually thinks he's stronger than me. Oh, one more thing. Over the 12 years, Naruto has now got the outfit that you see in the thumbnail. And he also got the scythe made too. That's what that is in the background. Like on his back. But yeah. So Naruto walks up and he puts on the mask. And he stares down Sasuke. Sasuke stares back at him. Naruto gets into his fighting position, and so does Sasuke. As soon as Iruka starts the match, Naruto disappears from everyone's sight. Everyone is caught off guard, even Sasuke. He then appears behind Sasuke and kicks him in the back of the head. Sasuke turns around and throws 2 kunai at Naruto. Naruto sheaves his blade, blocking both of the kunai, and then drawing his own kunai, throwing them at Sasuke. Sasuke would dodge these kunai, but when he looks back, Naruto is already in front of him. Naruto would punch him in the face twice, then once in the gut, and kick him back. Sasuke almost falls out of the circle, but he stops himself before he could fall out. He gets up, and he has an angry expression on his face. He says, "There's no way you could be beating me right now. I've beaten you every other time. How was this time different?" Naruto will look at him with a slight smirk, but since no one can see it, no one really takes that into question. And he would tell Sasuke, for the past few years, well, for the whole time we were in the academy, I've been holding back against you. See, I'm actually a lot stronger than you think, since I've been training since I was 3 years old. Now, I can show you my true power. He would then disappear from Sasuke's sight once more, appearing on the side of Sasuke, sweeping his leg, and then slamming his fist straight into his gut, knocking Sasuke into the ground. But Sasuke was not done. When Naruto backed off of Sasuke, Sasuke still got back up, and he yelled, "Fire style! Fireball jutsu!" Naruto would look at Sasuke, and as the fireball got straight to him, he would then command water, and the water would instantly take out Sasuke's flames. Sasuke would be confused as the water is now circling Naruto. Naruto's like, "Do you see this? I can control this water and make it do whatever I want. Now witness." More water starts adding on to the water that is already around Naruto until it's one big wave. He then pushes it all at Sasuke. The water travels at immense speeds, hits Sasuke. Sasuke tries to dodge the water, but the water just won't let up, and it keeps chasing after him. Because it hit him, but then he got out. That's what that was. And then, once he gets hit by the water once more, he is washed out of the circle. And he almost flies off of school grounds. But Naruto stops the water before he can fly out of school grounds. Naruto would then drag the water back and then make the water go away. dropping Sasuke straight onto the ground. He would look at Iruka-sensei and ask, "Did I win?" Iruka, still dumbfounded by Naruto's power, he stutters to get it out, but he would tell him yes. Naruto would then take off his mask and go back to the class. And now once they're all in the class, Naruto is called up to do the the clone jutsu. Sorry. So Naruto does the clone jutsu, so he passes. But this is where things take a little turn. So after the graduation exams, Mizuki meets up with Naruto. And he tells Naruto, "I have a secret way for you to train, but you must do something for me." And Naruto, loving to train, he's blinded by the training, and he asks Mizuki what is it that he needs to do. Mizuki tells him that there's a scroll in the Hokage's office, and he needs him to retrieve it for him. So Naruto, without a second thought, rushes off to the Hokage's office with immense speed. Mizuki is surprised at Naruto's speed, but he just walks off and waits for Naruto. So when Naruto gets there, he's about to steal the scroll, but then he thinks, why would Mizuki need this scroll? Especially if it belongs to the Hokage. I don't trust this guy. Not anymore, at least. But he would sit down, open the scroll, and he would see a bunch of jutsu. He would learn the Shadow Clone Jutsu by looking in there. He would also learn the Flying Raijin. That's what most people make him learn. And he would also learn that's all I'm gonna have him learn. But he reads other scrolls, and he learns about this water ability called Surface Slicer, and he thinks that would come in handy, so he adds it to his roster. He also finds a move called Blood Slave. It increases one's speed immensely, so he also adds that to his roster as well. He would then think, I guess I have time to read one more jutsu. And he looks around, and he sees a scroll that says magma on it. He would open it up, and there would be abundance of different magma jutsu. He would learn the one that he thought was the strongest, and it's called Meteor Strike. This jutsu would have a bunch of magma rocks fly out to its opponent, dealing lots of damage, and if strong enough, can cause an instant death to even Jonin. Naruto would be pretty happy with all the jutsu he's learned. He would close the scroll, and then he would grab one of the most useless scrolls there, and he would leave the building. And since it was a useless scroll, once the Hokage found out that the scroll was missing, he didn't really care. So when Naruto goes off into the woods, he sees Mizuki, and Mizuki's like, give me the scroll. And pretty much all that goes the same, but Iruka doesn't get there. So when Mizuki throws the shuriken at Naruto, Naruto just pulls out his blade, and in one swift movement, the shuriken will split into two. Mizuki is dumbfounded by what Naruto just did. He would ask, how did you do that? You're just a genin. Naruto would say, you shouldn't underestimate people, especially when you don't know anything about them. Naruto will grab a kunai that seemed to have a weird seal on it, and he would mutter something. He would then throw the kunai, but it would be far off from Mizuki. Mizuki would laugh and say, ha, that was, He would laugh and say, ha, your aim is even worse than I thought. Naruto would say, "I wasn't aiming for you," and he would disappear. Mizuki would feel a cold breeze go across him as he would realize Naruto was holding a kunai straight to his neck. Naruto would tell him to surrender, or I'll have to kill you here. Mizuki starts to sweat a lot. He tries to attack Naruto before Naruto can slit his throat, but it was too late. Naruto killed Mizuki. Naruto then buried Mizuki under the trees where no one could find him. And he left the scroll out there, seeing as it was useless. And he walked away. Next day, he would be in class, and Iruka would say, "It's time for you to get your teams." And Naruto would be excited, as if he gets paired up with someone really strong, he'll be able to train a lot more. And since I like the original Team 7, I'm not about to make them split up. Oh, and one more thing. Soccer is actually going to be useful in this. So, round of applause. But yeah, so Naruto is still on Team 7. And as usual, Kakashi comes in late, and then everybody goes up to the roof to talk. So Kakashi would ask them the same questions he did in the original, and Naruto, what was wrong with this? I hope to be the Hokage. No, I hope to be something better, something higher than the Hokage, something stronger, like a god. Naruto would just sit there in silence as Kakashi, Sasuke, and Sakura would stare at him. He would say, "My likes are Sakura, Ino, and ramen. Oh, and don't forget training. But my dislikes, I dislike when people mock others and when people deem others as weak, even though it's just that they're too strong for them. Because I believe that no one is necessarily weak. It's just that others are stronger." Kakashi will look at Naruto, and he knows that Naruto is the son of Minato, but he's like, when did he die? Like, why did he dye his hair black? Because he still wonders that to this day. And he's like, and where does he get his eye color from, too? He even thinks differently from both his parents now. It's like a whole different person. So, then Sakura would have her same thing, but her likes, she would put Naruto as well, as well as Sasuke. She didn't say Sasuke, but you could tell. I'm pretty sure Kakashi could tell too. And Sasuke would still have his dream, but his dream would also be to beat Naruto after what happened during the graduation ceremony. So Kakashi would then inform them about the bell test, and he'd tell them not to eat or they're gonna puke. Naruto, not caring about this, he eats ramen, and Sakura would walk past him and then walk into the ramen shop. She would confront him and saying, "Naruto, you know you're not supposed to be eating. Kakashi Sensei told us not to." Naruto was like, "I kinda don't care, seeing as this will be easy." And she was like, "You can't be so sure of that." He's like, "But I am. I fought most of the Jonin here, and none of them compare to me. So what makes him so different?" And Sakura said, "If you say so." So, we're gonna skip to the next day, and now it's time for the bell test. Naruto comes late, seeing as he saw Kakashi come late on the first day, so he probably would come late on the second day. So when he gets there, he sees a tired... Oh, dang. That wasn't supposed to happen. A tired Sasuke and Sakura. And he would ask them, so I'm guessing he's late. They would shake their heads, being too tired to even say any words. And a couple moments after, Kakashi would finally arrive. He was like, sorry for the wait. I got lost on the path of life. Naruto would say, that's bullcrap and you know it. Kakashi would just look at him for a second and have a surprised expression on his face. He's like, okay, you got me. Well, I guess we can get on with this bell test now. He would then hold up 2 bells and he would say, if you guys can get these bells from me before time is up, then you pass. Sakura would then ask, but there's 3 of us and there's only 2 bells. He's like, exactly. For those of you who don't get a bell, we'll end up having to go back to the academy. Sasuke looks in shock, Sakura looks in shock, and Naruto just stands there with a blank expression. Naruto says, well, I guess Sakura and I don't have to worry about going back. Sadly, Sasuke, I guess you have to go. Sasuke will look at him and says, what makes you so sure that you're going to get the bells? And what makes you so sure that Sakura's going to get the bells? He was like, I'll help Sakura. I'll do whatever it takes to make sure she gets a bell. But you, I'm pretty sure you can handle yourself. Or can you not? Sasuke will look at him with an angry expression and yell, of course I can handle myself. I'm stronger than you. Naruto would say, you and I both know that that's not true. Sasuke would just scoff and look away. Kakashi would then begin to count down. 3, 2, 1, go. Naruto would grab Sakura and jump into the trees. He would look at Sakura and tell her, I have a plan. And that Sasuke guy is going to be included. Seeing as he's arrogant, I know he's probably going to try to fight him one-on-one. So you and I will come up with a plan. So, when they're fighting, if everything goes to plan, I'll launch you up out of the trees. Then, you have to be as accurate as you can and throw kunai at Kakashi. This will probably make Kakashi jump back, seeing as there's going to be a target right in front of him, and he can't jump up. So when he jumps back, I'll meet him there. And my shadow clone will be waiting for you when you land. So when you land, he can once again throw you at Kakashi. And if you can't snag the bells, then I'll catch you. And you and I can both fight Kakashi together. Sounds like a plan? She would nod her head, and they would commence. Sasuke is already fighting with Kakashi, and this is going as it did in the original. But then, out of nowhere, Kakashi just jumps back, and Sasuke's confused as he sees 4 kunai land right in front of him. He looks up in the air, and he sees Sakura. And when he looks to where Sakura's going to land, he sees Naruto. And then he sees a surprised Kakashi. He looks past Kakashi to see another Naruto. Naruto and Kakashi will start battling it out. Blow for blow, kick for kick. All of their hits are landing. But it seems Naruto's hits are doing more damage to Kakashi than Kakashi's hits are doing to Naruto. And then Naruto's Shadow Clone will launch Sakura at Kakashi, and then poof. The bells would almost get snagged, but Kakashi would just barely move out the way. Kakashi would be like, you guys are stronger than I expected. And he would activate his Tsutomoe Sharingan. Naruto would look in anger as he would draw his sword and put on his mask. And under his mask, he starts to get angry. He's like, we almost had him. Dang it. And now he has the Sharingan. This is going to be a lot harder than I expected. Sakura was right. Well, I guess I have to rely on that power. So he goes to his mindscape, and he sees a cage, but he also sees a long, dark hallway. He goes to the hallway and whistles. Big thumping can be heard, and what emerges from the lights is truly horrifying. It's a 3-headed dog. One of the heads have green eyes, one of the heads have blue eyes, and one of the heads have yellow eyes. The yellow eyes signify lightning, the blue eyes signify ice, and the green eyes signify poison. The dog would lower its head to Naruto, and Naruto would pet the green-eyed head, and he would say, "Can I borrow your power?" The dog would look up and say, "Of course, you can, Naruto." Naruto would then emerge from his mindscape, and he would sprout ears and a tail. His teeth would also get a lot sharper, and so would his nails. His eyes would glow a light green, and Naruto would disappear. Kakashi would then turn around and block as Naruto was there, and he would try to kick Kakashi. Kakashi would block this kick, and then Sakura would try to punch Kakashi in the side, but Kakashi would grab her arm and throw her away. Naruto would disappear, catching Sakura and laying her down on the ground, putting her down on the ground. He would then appear right in front of Kakashi once more, and they would start trading blows. Naruto is dodging a lot of Kakashi's blows, but so is Kakashi. Only a select few of blows are connecting. Naruto would then jump in the air and cup his hands together, and a light green ball would appear in his hands. He would then launch it at Kakashi, and when Kakashi gets ready to dodge, the ball then splits into 5. One of the balls ends up hitting Kakashi in the arm, and all of a sudden, Kakashi's arm is immobilized, and it can't move. Kakashi thinks to himself, "What is this? Did he paralyze me?" Naruto would then look at Kakashi with a blank expression. You could almost feel it through the mask. But then Kakashi is just frozen. He starts feeling this immense energy coming from Naruto, and it's keeping him in place. He can't move. He can't even speak. Naruto is emitting so much energy and bloodlust. At this point, everyone in the battlefield is just still. But then Sakura would yell out, "Naruto, calm down." Naruto would look back at Sakura, and then the energy would just fade. He would scratch the back of his head and apologize to Sakura. And he would look back at Kakashi. He said, "Well, it's time to finish this." He would disappear and appear right behind Sakura. He would swing her around and launch her straight at Kakashi. She went so fast that Kakashi didn't have time to dodge. He only had time to block. He would block Sakura's punch, but then Sakura would start throwing a lot more punches, which he can dodge. While he's distracted with Sakura, Naruto appears behind him, sweeps his legs, and then Sakura will grab both of his arms and jump on top of him, restraining him. Even though that wasn't really needed because one of his arms are already paralyzed. But Naruto would then walk over to Kakashi, Kakashi being completely immobilized by Sakura, and he can't kick her since she's on his upper half of his body. He's stuck there. Naruto would then pick up the bells and then give one to Sakura. He would then look at Sasuke and think for a second, and he would walk over to Sasuke and like touch his forehead with the bell. He would then look back at Kakashi and say, "Well, we've all touched the bells, and so does that count?" Kakashi says, "That was never the point of the bell test. The point of the bell test was to prove that you guys can work together, which I know you and Sakura can, but next time, at least try to put Sasuke into your teamwork or strategy." Naruto would nod his head, and Naruto's eyes would turn back to the usual yellow and blue, and his nails would then shorten and go back to normal. He would then look at Sakura and says, "Well, I'm gonna go home. I'll see you guys tomorrow." That's the end of What If Naruto Was Blessed by the Gods. Now, before I end this video, I just want to say that hoped you liked it, and like, subscribe, comment if you want another part, and even if you don't comment you want another part, I'm probably still going to do another part. But I made this one longer than 12 minutes, and signing off.